What is going on, right, man? So we have the Terence Crawford versus Madrimov fight. I think that this is going to be somewhat entertaining. Is it going to be challenging? That remains to be seen. Now, in terms of like accomplishments and skill level and eye test, Terence Crawford got that, right? He got it. But he does have to make a statement at 154 to show, hey, I'm here. And I'm going to dominate 154 the same way I dominated 147. But that's also the statement he needed to make at 147 when he was fighting at 140. And boy, did he do that statement, because since he entered 147, he has not finished a fight without knocking the person out. So he's knocked out everybody at 147, including Errol Spence, which people, don't forget, people are calling Errol Spence the bone collector. How's Terence Crawford going to deal with this? Don't forget all these YouTubers that say they know it all, was betting on the fact that Errol Spence was going to dominate Terence Crawford with just volume. But I explained the limitations that Errol Spence had in comparison to Terence Crawford in our live stream, where we predicted, obviously, that Terence Crawford, we've been saying Terence Crawford was going to win that fight since 3 years ago, right? But with the breakdown that we did, and it reared its ugly head versus somebody like a Terence Crawford. The thing with Errol, he always had a great, amazing, probably one of the best, if not the best, engines of all time in the 147-pound division, and he could overwhelm you with volume. But the thing with Terence Crawford is that he has pinpoint accuracy, and he hits you with harsh intent. He's a very aggressive fighter, and in my opinion, the best finisher in boxing currently. Okay, but with that being said, if Terence Crawford does not knock out Madrimov or have this spectacular performance against Madrimov, the calls for him versus Canelo may dwindle, because it'll be like, well, you can't handle a 154 person. You know how people do in boxing, man. That everything is the triangle theory. When it works for me, the triangle theory, and screw the triangle theory, or the triangle theory don't ever prove nothing when it don't work for me, right? So he does have to do that for just that kind of continuity, or that consciousness of the fans to say, well, if he could do that at 154, maybe he can do, you know, the Canelo Alvarez fight. Now, Canelo, come on now, give the man a chance. You gave Jamel Charlo a chance to fight you, and people keep pointing at the Jamel fight, but Crawford is like, we're talking about the guy who he could be considered the #1 pound for pound fighter, or #2, or #3. He's definitely 100% in the top 3. Why are you comparing him to Jamel just because Jamel was undisputed? Sure, but Crawford is 2-time undisputed and a top pound for pound fighter at the top of the list. So it's not the same thing, guys. It's not the same thing. And Terence Crawford doesn't go in there and have these close battles. Terence Crawford is the only fighter currently in boxing, in my opinion, that doesn't have one fight where you could go, maybe that one goes to the other guy. No, because even if it was close, he knocked the guy out, right? For example, the Sean Porter fight, it was pretty competitive. He knocked him out. So there's not a fight in Terence Crawford's entire catalog that you could look at and say, that's the one that could have been a robbery. There isn't one like that, right? So he's a different beast, and he's fought people that were like, he fought real beasts at 140. People are gonna tell you, nah, Victor Postal was like a beast before he fought Crawford, but people are gonna pretend like, nah, he wasn't that big of a deal. Nah, don't worry about it. Nah, he fought beasts, so he needs to do well. But I think that if he does do well, and then he moves towards becoming undisputed, obviously he's probably going to fight Fundora next. I think that's going to be a big, huge fight, unless Errol Spence fights Fundora, but it looks like there's some type of a delay there. Maybe Errol Spence doesn't come back. Terence Crawford fights Fundora, and then he could go ahead and start collecting the belts, become 3-division undisputed, and then move up all the way, jump 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. I think that will be an amazing fight. Obviously, I prefer Canelo versus Benavidez first. That's the one that I want. That's the one that everybody wants. People will sit here in front. Oh no, he doesn't need a fight. He doesn't need to fight Benavidez. Look at his resume. But The same people that are saying that is the same people that wanted Floyd Mayweather to fight Keith Thurman. Like, Floyd Mayweather's resume is probably the best resume of all time, if not the second best or third best. He's definitely got the top three. The man has Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Juan Manuel Marquez in his resume. He has these guys, Diego Corrales, right, in his resume. So they looked at that resume, and still, to this day, people chastise him for ducking Keith Thurman. So if they could do that to Floyd, the same people that could do that to Floyd need to keep the same energy for the Benavidez fight. Canelo need to fight Benavidez. Now, let's talk about what I think is the actual real fight of this card. It is Pitbull Cruz versus Rayo. Now, who do I want to win? This is going to be a close, this is actually a 50-50 fight, but who do I want to win? I want Rayo to win. You know why? Because I want Pitbull to not even be an option for Tank. Like, Pitbull is being used as leverage to keep Tank from fighting Shakur. Now, I don't care if it's he doesn't fight Pitbull and he ends up fighting Rayo, because at least we get another person that he fights. I don't want to see the Pitbull fight again. If Rayo beats Pitbull and Tank decides I'm going to fight Rayo, then fight Rayo. That way, at least we don't get this Pitbull fight twice. Like, do the Rayo fight. That's beautiful. Rayo is a pretty good competitor. Yes, he lost to Edwin De Los Santos, but he smoked Chris Colbert twice. He a beast, right? He a beast. He a beast. So he got the skills. He's showing that he got the skills. So I think that it's gonna be a really good a competitive bout. And if Rayo comes out victorious in that fight, then we could potentially see a Tank versus Rayo, which I think will just be a little bit more exciting than a Pitbull versus Tank part 2. There's no point to it. Tank won the fight already. Let's move on, and hopefully Pitbull just doesn't get used as a thing anymore to moving forward, and that could open the doors to a Shakur Stevenson fight, which is really what I want, right? I mean, if they have like a lackluster performance and it's pretty close in the cards, and then Rayo edges him out, maybe we get the Shakur Stevenson fight next. Who knows? But waiting on this, can't wait to see the card. It's a really deep card. We got Andy Cruz in there. We got Jared Anderson on it, right? We got Big Baby Miller. So it's a pretty good cards with a lot of stars on it. But the most important fight, in my opinion, is Pitbull Cruz versus Rayo. And then second to that is Crawford versus Madrimov. Because don't sleep on Madrimov. People are like, look, he only has this many fights. Guys. Madrimov is a beast. He's really good. Look at his fights. On top of that, like, it don't matter how many fights you have. It's just about your skills. Usyk don't got nearly as many fights as all these other heavyweights, but he's smoking everybody. Lomachenko beat Gary Russell Jr. when Gary Russell Jr. was undefeated, and he was the top of the ticket for that division. And he beat him when he had 2 fights, only 2 fights. So, like, listen, their amateur careers is important as well. Madrimov has a very decorated amateur career, so he's good. He's good. But to me, this fight is just a bat signal to the world if Terence Crawford should even be in the conversation to fight Canelo Alvarez. If Terence Crawford goes in there and does what he does at 154, what he's been doing at 147, then he could just be like, yo, look, bro, it don't matter, bro. Skills, bro. Skills pays the bills. Look what I did here. Same thing I did there. So and that's going to be the same thing I'm going to do over there. So give me the 168 fight. I'm good. I'm good. And I think that he's one of those guys that could pull that off. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end this video here. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I have Crawford winning that fight. The Rayo versus Pitbull Cruz, that's actually a 50-50 fight, but I am pushing for Rayo to win it. I just want him to create a different narrative for Tank. Fight a Rayo and not a Pitbull Cruz, in my opinion. All right, until the next one, guys. Let me know you guys' prediction down in the comment section below. And of course, we're gonna do we're gonna talk about the fight after. We're also gonna look at all of the media and all that stuff and do a pay-per-view buy prediction. We normally hit the prediction right on the money. So if you want to know roughly what the pay-per-view buys are going to be, you want to stay tuned here, hit the subscribe button for that. And just a few days after, we'll go ahead and do that, compiling all of the numbers together from the pre-fight media and stuff like that, even the post-fight media stuff, but really the pre-fight stuff is what tells you what the numbers are going to be, or give you an idea. All right, until the next one, guys, peace out.